What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Today, we are going to talk about the Mavericks and Lakers trade. Now, as a Laker fan, you would think that I'm really happy right now, right? But maybe not. Let's talk about it, because I've been hearing a few things about this trade, right? So let's kick off and start off what happened. So the Lakers, my Lakers, traded Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick for Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. Now, you're looking at the names, right? I hear it. It's a little interesting. The big ones, Luka and AD, of course. But I ain't gonna lie to y'all, ladies and gentlemen. There's a couple of players in here that are pretty decent. Like Max Christie isn't trash. It's a young player, up and coming, right? I'm not going to say a superstar or anything like that, but nice player, up and coming. A good defensive prospect, combo guard, right? I think about 6'5", if I'm not mistaken. We get back Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris. Now let's look at this trade holistically, right? People are saying the Lakers won. They're saying my team won, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, I have trepidation around that. Let's look at the five statistical the basic five statistical points that people usually get right: points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. There's other stuff you can focus on, but these five are what people typically focus on. So if you look at those five stats, the Mavs won the trade. Out of the players that we lost versus the players the Mavericks lost, the Mavericks ended up getting more points per game, more rebounds, and more blocks. Now, here's the crazy thing. Of course, the assists go to us, right? Because we got Luka. The steals is a tie. So if we're looking at the five stats that we talked about, points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, the Mavs won the points scored, the rebounds acquired, and the blocks gotten. So that's 3 out of the 5 right there. That's a 60% win rate right there. Keep in mind, there's a 20% tie in there too, because they tied on steals. But again, we hype on the fact that Anthony Davis is 29 in injury history, right? Luka's 25 in his prime and just went to the finals last year. Lost, but went to the finals nonetheless. Could have won. I gotta say, I ain't that hype with this trade. I'm not. It's cool. But let's look at my Lakers today, right? Now, we played the Jazz twice. We lost once. Let me say that again. We played the Jazz twice, lost once. The Jazz right now are not the best team, are not the top tier team. They're not going to the playoffs. It's not like we beat Karl Malone and them. You know what I'm saying? Hell, even Lauri Markkanen a couple of years ago and the Jazz were looking all right. We ain't even beat that squad. Like, that's not a squad we played against. So the fact that we lost that second game, I'm kind of upset about, even though I get it. The redemption game is tricky to win sometimes. Still should have won that one. Now, I heard Luka played a perfect game, his debut game, right? I thought AR scoring has increased. People are still saying that Braun is the GOAT, right? So by that estimation, hell, Lake Show should be back in business, correct? Here's the thing. I have a couple concerns. Our interior presence woes, right? We have Valanciunas now. That's cool. I'm sorry, we don't have Valanciunas. Damn. Who did we get recently? Alex Len. We have Alex Len. Yeah, Valanciunas is on the Kings. We were targeting Valanciunas. Couldn't get him. Got Alex Len. Gotcha. And we have Jackson Hayes. That's supposed to replace Anthony Davis, a defensive player of the year candidate. Okay, no, that's fine, cool. Like, we were already struggling somewhat with rim protection. At least that's what some Laker fans were saying. So we lost our rim protection and got back Luka and did not really get any more rim protection. Cool. Now, what are our defined roles? We already know we don't really have a rim protection, or at least elite rim protection, but we got two players who can serve that role, right? I think we have undefined roles, such as hell, who gonna be the guy at the end of the game for us? We're gonna say we're just gonna alternate it between Braun and Luka. Okay, that's cool, I guess. Like we need to establish who's gonna be the guy. Look at the Heat in 2011. People thought Braun should have been the guy. Braun might have felt, hey, I'm going to D Wade's team. You got to define those roles, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't, it's going to be a little controversy for this squad. And again, we just lost Anthony Davis. So a player who pairs well with a ball dominant player had some concerns, had some issues, some gripes. He didn't necessarily say that, but there were some growing pains initially, even though we won the first year in the bubble. Cool. What we done after that? So there were some learning curves to go for. And that's with a player that paired with Braun. I don't know if we could say Luka pairs with Braun. They kind of mimic one another, right? Also, again, Luka and Braun, like I said, they mimic one another. There's only one basketball on the court. We're going to share the ball now? Does that mean one's supposed to be off the ball, which I don't think they're best off the ball? So now are we taking away from their game? Also, which one are we taking away from their game from? I would love for Luka to be solid off the ball. I think he needs to be. Till he shows that, not really feeling it's going to happen right now. So I have some question marks around that. Also, who's our third guy? Do you believe in Austin Reaves? I did say he's been scoring a little bit more. I think he's at 18, 19 points a game. We also traded D'Lo, though. So in terms of defined roles, he's supposed to be our third guy. This whole season, we've been treating him like he is the third guy, even when we had D'Lo. So, cool. Is that guy going to be a sufficient third option for us to win a championship? Me personally, right now, I don't say so. And I get you. He's been hooping. He's been playing real well. I think there are other better third options. And when we face tougher competition, he's going to have to show up. And that's when I have some trepidation around. That's just me, though. But we'll see. Do y'all believe in Reaves? That's basically my question. We also got to talk about J.J. Redick and his eventual growing pains. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, he's a first-year head coach. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. Now, I do love J.J. I'm a Duke fan as well. He come from good stock. It's his first time as a head coach. So that's something I'm monitoring. Although he's been doing decently, that's something I'm still monitoring because it's still early in the season. Then we got to talk about Luka's Laker tenure. Now, keep in mind, I have concerns over Luka's health. And you might be saying he's been playing a lot, right? I hear it. I really, truly do. But stay with me and we'll talk about it a little bit later about why I really have issues and trepidations around Luka's injury history. But right now, just know that we do, Lakers meaning, sit comfortably in an okay spot. We are a couple pieces away from possibly being a dynasty. I do think we are eventually going to have to trade Braun and move on officially to that Luka era if we really want to start winning championships. But there is a window, there is a narrative, there is a storyline where we do win one with Braun, but we'll talk about it another time. So for right now, Lakers are sitting in a decent spot. We have eyes on us again. We have entertainment, and we have at least secured a player who we can build our fan base or hype our fan base around for at least the next 3 to 5 years. So I'm happy, but as long as he stay, but we'll see what happens. Now we got to go to the Mavericks, right? Because, well, look, their team, if healthy, they solid. Like they dominated a Rockets team. Keep in mind, this Rockets squad went to 3rd seed during this year, right? They went as high as the 2nd seed this year. They dominated that Rocket squad. Like Anthony Davis, before his, I think it was a groin injury, he had 26, 10, 7, and 3 blocks. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. Now, I did say I have concerns about Anthony Davis's injury history. Similar with Kyrie, and also Kyrie possibly departing too. This is the audition period for Anthony Davis, really, to the Mavs, but also the Mavs roster. Because this Mavs roster, it has a championship window. It might be perceived as a little shorter now, it still has a championship window. We're forgetting they just went to the finals last year. Granted, Luka was on the squad, right? But Anthony Davis is a pretty solid piece offensively and defensively, factoring in Kyrie, the depth they have. Anthony Davis can play the 5, but does not have to on this Mavs squad. This team is actually scary if they play their cards right and if they're healthy entering the postseason and playing throughout the postseason. So we'll see what happens with that one. But again, my main concerns for this squad is AD's injury history, right? And again, Kyrie's injury history. Will they be able to find a consistent third option? Because last postseason at least, in the finals, they didn't have that consistent third option the way they did against the Wolves. So that's going to be something I'm looking into. But this team has a potential defensive capability that might be hard to match. I can't hold you. Like AD at the 4 with Lively or Gafford. You got PJ Washington at the 3, Clay at the 2. Like that could be pretty decent. That's all I'm saying. So, but let's talk about the injury history of Luka and AD because they tie in both teams. Luka has played 6, 7 seasons. He's in his 7th season now. So over 6 seasons, he could have played a possible 481 games. Out of those 481, he's played 400 games. That means he's played 83% of the games that he possibly could have played. So that's pretty damn good, right? That's pretty spectacular. Anthony Davis is called Mr. Glass, right? He's not viewed the highest. In his first 6 seasons, he could have played 492 games. He played 410. So that means he played 83% of his games. In fact, if you want to go more in depth, he played 83.33% of his games, and Luka played 83.16% of his games in the first 6 seasons. But again, though, Anthony Davis is called Mr. Glass. So a player who's played at least 80% of his games in the first 6 and 7 and 8 seasons is considered Mr. Glass today. We're overlooking that Anthony Davis is immensely more athletic and I believe in better shape than Luka, but that one's subjective though, right? The athleticism piece, that's a factual based statement. Luka has been playing professional basketball since age 16. He's also been dealing with injuries. Like I remember him having a back injury not too long ago, right? So do y'all think that a player with his utilization, who's played as long as he's been playing and has had the success that he's played thus far, when I'm talking about success, I'm talking about actually playing the game, the percentage of games played, all of that factored in, do you not have worry about his future with the Lakers or future in basketball? We could be talking about 5 years from now, Luka could be retiring from the game. Let me say this again. 5 years from now, Luka Doncic could be retiring from the NBA. Crazy to say, right? It sounds weird to hear, right? But that's a possibility. The man physically might be 32, but y'all saying Buddy is in his prime right now. Come on now. I have worries about Luka staying. Also, let's think about it from a financial standpoint, bro. His paycheck, if I'm him, I'm considering going to the Spurs because now I'm back in Texas and I'm playing with Wemby and Fox, 2 players who play elite defense. I ain't got to worry. And keep in mind, I can play make. Fox has already shown he can play make and coexist with a teammate who play makes pretty well too. Hey, Sabonis. Like, come on now. And then Wemby can defend his ass off. And come on now. A pick and roll, pick and pop game between Luka and Wemby, that's going to be quite tough. So if I'm Luka, is the Lakers who's taking almost half my pay because I live in the state of California, is that worth me going to the Lakers? Or I could pair up with Wemby where my legacy could be etched in stone and me playing for 5 seasons could actually be okay. Hell, you might even say, I don't have to play. I don't have to play as hard and maybe play a little longer because you got Wemby there. I'm just saying, if I'm Luka, I'm considering that as a possibility. The greatest international duo in NBA history. Something to talk about. But y'all think that my Lakers are secure. Like I said, I have issues and gripes and question marks around this trade. The Mavs, to me, point in time, won this trade. We have to make other acquisitions for us to say we won this trade. So again, I'm not sold on the history books laughing at the Dallas Mavericks, calling them complete fools, right? Dummies, stupid. Like I'm not believing that wholeheartedly, because my concerns over Luka's body wearing down does give me cause to pause. I'm not saying ultimately, and I have said this before, and I kind of take it back. I'm not saying Buddy's lazy. In terms of what I expect Luka to be, the comparison to that is not up to par in terms of his conditioning, in terms of his physicality, right? Like he could work out a little bit more. He could condition a little bit more. He could work out a little bit more off ball to get better, to be more efficient. But end of day, Buddy is still an elite talent. So when I say stuff like that, that's not knocking his game at all. That's saying what I see Luka to be, I see him falling short. Now, we still could win a championship. So that is good. And that's why I'm saying it's okay to have him on the squad. But it's not as cut and dry as, oh, we got Luka, we're going to win a championship. Not quite. Because there's a Celtics squad that's pretty damn good. There's an OKC squad that's pretty good. I got a video coming out that's going to let y'all know why we have to win in these next 5 years, or else it's going to be a little tough to win it going forward. So, but ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you guys what y'all thought about the Lakers and Mavericks trades, right? Like, who do you think ultimately won the trade? After this audio too, let me know if this has actually swayed your opinion, or if you think, hey man, you off your rocker a little bit. Mavs is dumb. All right, cool. I hear that too. We'll see what time will ultimately tell. That's the best thing about this. So we're just gonna sit back and wait. But for now, that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you all listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a good one. Take care.